It had been nearly 6 months since my last trip to Colorado. I felt way overdue for a trip to see some Rocky Mountains. Now, I wasn't exactly expecting spring weather, but I don't think I was expecting a week full of snow. Every single trip that I made this week, winter storms seemed to follow. Stop 1 was to Rocky Mountain National Park. The further along the drive we went, the storm clouds slowly started to dissipate, and blue sky emerged overhead. For the first hour in Rocky Mountain National Park, we were the only two in sight. Despite months of heavy snow, the trail was surprisingly compacted, and I didn't even need any snowshoes. The further we hiked away from the snow squalls behind us, the clearer the skies overhead became. This left us with a beautiful view, but very harsh midday sunlight, preventing me from finding anything I thought worth photographing. So I ventured back the way we came and decided to stop and take a picture of the snowstorms blowing over the mountain peaks behind us. Well, we're in Rocky Mountain National Park on a morning where it snowed pretty heavily, so there's some snow clinging to all the pine trees, and there's some storms over here to the left that are rolling in through the mountain valley. So I set up just a little bit up the trail, and it was able to take a 3-image panorama, and I think it'll probably be the best one I get today. So got a few different images, but I think that one's going to be my favorite. So gonna hit the trail and see if we can find anything else, and hopefully get home before it starts snowing a bit more. I liked this view so much that I decided not to photograph anything else in the harsh midday light. So instead, I enjoyed the hike and prepared for the next day in Boulder. One of the things I'm most thankful for packing on this trip is a windbreaker. I really should have worn my windbreaker pants as well. I'm out on a blustery spring day in the beautiful Boulder, Colorado. And right back over this way, you can see there's a winter storm blowing in right over the Front Range and the Flatirons. So I've pulled out my 100 to 400 5 DSR, and I'm going to zoom right in and see if we can get some good storm photos. I zoomed right into the clouds and the storms blowing in over the Rockies. And yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's a pretty cool image. After spending over an hour getting battered by the wind, I decided I'd had enough. I started to walk back to my car, hoping to get warm, and find somewhere else to photograph the next day when I drove up to Steamboat Springs. Granted, this part of Colorado is much further north and almost in Wyoming, so I was expecting some winter weather. But the scenes here felt like I'd gone back in time 2 or 3 months to early January. On this day, we really were the only two around, probably for 100 miles in any direction. The lake was frozen, and the pines were frozen too. I'm out hiking in Colorado, and it is absolutely snowing up a storm, so I think I'm only going to grab this little peninsula as my one image for the afternoon, head back, and find somewhere to warm up. So I'm going to put on my 5 DSR 100-400 and isolate that little piece of trees sticking out into the frozen lake. Snow squalls blew through one at a time. Every 20 minutes or so, a low storm would grab the top of the mountains and the pines below. With each passing storm, whiteout conditions would cover the scene. Then we'd get a brief break, and then another 20 minutes of more whiteout snow. I had been missing winter, living in San Diego. But it's safe to say that after this trip, I definitely got my fill of winter. Miles and miles of frozen pines passed, before we finally emerged to a region further south that reminded me of the Scottish Highlands. I had to stop and take a video of the scene. Although I didn't really feel like photographing anything at this point, given how frozen my fingers were. It was really cool to see. It was a perfect way to end a spring trip to Colorado. Thanks as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.